Welcome back, everyone, to more of our 2022 racing season here at Knee Pit Gaming. We're ready for week 3 of the NASCAR schedule, and that means we're headed to Las Vegas. Now, for those of you who might be new to the channel or simply new to this particular gameplay series, I'm using modified physics, work that I have done to bring the handling and the speeds overall of the top 3 series more in line with where they are for the 2022 season, with some adjustments here and there that I believe will enhance the amount of fun that I'm having out of this series, and hopefully you guys as well. So to start off our Las Vegas weekend, we're going to be in the truck series. So if we hop into the single race, we're going to be using Las Vegas 2018 TE version. Now, down in the description of today's video, as well as all of the videos in this series, you're going to see several links to various NR 2003 content, whether they're mods, tracks, cars, you name it. They have a lot of NR 2003 content available for download, so definitely check those out, and that's where you can find this track as well as the truck series mod that we'll be using. Now, there are a couple of things that are a bit unique about this track. In general, I try not to make any adjustments if I can get by with them and just use the default track. This track, however, I had to make several adjustments, from greatly reducing the amount of grip that the track had, because I believe this might have been simulating either for a specific mod that needed additional grip or simulating a brand new surface that was unbelievably fast. But anyway, I have made several adjustments to grip, tire wear, as well as some of the AI behavior to make them race the way we need them to race in order to have fun. But we'll be doing a 41 lap race today, realistic damage, and that has a very high likelihood of coming into play. And we'll talk about this more as the race goes on, but the AI have a few quirks, we'll call them, at this track. They don't exactly behave in the way I would prefer all the time. So there's some things that we need to overlook, but overall, this is a quality track and a lot of fun to run. As always, we'll be using the max number of AI for the car set, 36 in this case, at 100% strength. Let's get to the track.
Drivers, start your engines!
All right, there you have it. The command has been given. We're going green in about a half a lap. So there's going to be a couple of recurring themes in the truck's Xfinity as well as Cup, and one of those is going to be setup changes. I talked about at Fontana how there are certain behaviors and characteristics of each of the 3 series that I wanted to change in the car. So if I make any physics changes, I'll let you guys know. I have not made any of those, but setup changes I have made. So we'll see how those work out today. And then also AI behavior. This track has some specific quirks that I have found, but so far this has been the best version of Vegas that I have found. Of course, when this game was originally released, Vegas was a very different looking track, and one that I thought was very fun even at the time. Lower banking, much wider, but since the change, there are some versions, but a lot of times what you'll find is simply updated versions of the same track, which is why I have stuck with this one. As you can see, I'm in no hurry to make it 3 wide up there just yet. I'm going to give these guys maybe a couple of laps and try to be as patient as I can. All 3 lanes, or 4 lanes, depending on how you look at it, are very much raceable and usable at this track. However, I have found that the 3rd groove up by the wall is not easy for me to run visually, which is kind of odd, but visually the track just looks a bit off, and it really throws my rhythm off up there. I haven't quite been able to pinpoint what it is, but I mean, running the 3rd groove is difficult enough anyway, but having visual cues that are throwing me off is certainly not helping my cause any at all. So we'll try to get up here on top and spend a little bit of time.
Clear inside.
Well, I didn't get back down to the bottom, but even though it said clear, I'm not quite sure how clear I was there. So right now, there's just not a whole lot we can do. I'm going to try to give these guys a little bit of room on corner entry because I know they're backing off, which is going to open up opportunities like this, but it puts us 3 wide. So we're going to have to see how this works out. Okay, that wasn't bad at all. Now, if we could have it always end up like that, then it would just be amazing. But all right, let me back out of this. Being 3 wide on the exit of 4 right now, yeah, that's not really where I want to be. This track gets very, very narrow on the exit of the corner with the AI, so again, I'm in no particular hurry to take all those chances. 41 laps is a long time here. As much as I would like to do a longer race here, the AI pitting behavior at this track leaves a lot to be desired. In fact, when I was practicing at this track, there were several. Ow, hello. Wow. Okay, my bad. So apparently I was not in the spot they wanted me to be.
Clear inside.
You know what? I'm going to let you have that inside lane. I'm just going to stick out here.
Inside. Still there.
Ooh, come on now.
JI 31.536. Keep high. You're up top. 3 wide. Car inside. Inside. Stay high. Clear inside.
All right, not too bad overall. So this 3rd lane is a lot of fun to run if I can work out some of the bugs. Ooh, I got really tight there. Woo, that was fun. That's why I didn't want to be 3 wide
30
up there.
1.558.
So just trying to keep in mind, it's 41 laps. So I don't mind being
You're up top.
3 wide off of turn 2. Turn 2 is a much easier corner on the exit
Stay high.
to run 3 wide. Let's see, I really need you guys to back out of it here. Whew, that is, you got a handful there coming off 4, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
509. Keep high. Clear inside.
So I'm definitely not attempting to run this wide open around the top. I'm just going to try to methodically work our way through. All right, so we're getting closer and closer to that top 20, so roughly halfway through the field. That's what we're looking for. Just
31.377.
And as always, I will have no idea what lap we're on at any point. Right now, I'm completely lost. I have no idea how many laps. You could tell me that we've run 5 laps. You could tell me we've run 10 laps. I have no idea.
Stay high. Clear inside.
All right, so if we can work our way through this pack in front of us, then we'll be inside the top 20 for sure. All right, do I want to take it 3 wide here? I think they're starting to spread out some.
Keep high.
That would definitely be preferable.
Clear inside.
So as always, at some point, as we're working our way up through the field, we'll hit a point where we're no longer able to pass cars,
Keep high.
or in this case,
Still
trucks,
there. Clear
as
inside.
easy as we were at the beginning with much slower traffic. But I have no idea when that time is going to come. We may be here now. But at some point, we will reach that level.
Inside.
Of course, I'm hoping it's when we get much closer to the top 10.
Still there.
Ooh,
Clear.
wow, that is so tight coming off of turn 4, and I absolutely love it.
31.
I just keep waiting for a tank slapper because I am so close to doing exactly that.
Stay high. Clear.
Oh, we got a big run. Unfortunately, the 3 truck, Jordan Anderson, did not have a nice run. I'm not sure how aggressive I want to be with 3 wide here, so let's see. You can see the outside lane holds its own very nicely at this track. So making passes on the bottom is tough. Ooh, I had to get on the brakes there as well as out of the gas. And one thing this truck does not like right now is me making evasive maneuvers. This truck is just not that stable. I took some of the stability out of the truck in an effort to try to loosen the truck up, give it a little bit more rotation, keep it freer over the longer run. So we'll see if that comes back to haunt me.
31.991. Clear.
Let's see if we can get to this third groove. Turn 1 seems to be a trouble spot for these guys. They get out of the gas a little bit early. I'm hoping I can take advantage of that.
3 wide. Hold your line.
All right, here we go. 3 wide.
Still there. Clear.
Whew. Everybody mind your P's and Q's, including me.
31.807. You're now in the top 20. Car inside.
All right, I heard the message. You're now in the top 20. That's what I was waiting to hear. Okay, so we made it through that group. So indeed, it does put us inside the top 20. But you can see things have really started to spread out.
31.
We've got smaller groups of trucks that are grouped together. That happens a lot at this track. Some of that's the ratings.
Clear inside.
But I believe that unlike Fontana, where it was a big deal to not have the draft, I think here we can survive without it. Now, you're obviously better down these straightaways, particularly this long D-shaped front straightaway. You're definitely better when you have a toe like we just had there. But it's not the end of the world if you don't have the draft. A little surprised to see. Now, I know it may say Gilliland on the back window there, but that is actually Zane Smith. That's one of those trucks I need to swap out at some point if I can find a newer version, which is probably available at this point.
31.
You can see the bottom there. I got loose underneath him, so I decided let's just try this high side, and either it works or it doesn't. But being on the bottom just isn't where I wanted to be.
Still there.
Again, this car really loose.
Keep high.
So we do have some tire wear and fall off at this track, but nowhere near what we saw at Fontana. That's for sure.
31.754.
Oh yeah, the bottom is not where I want to be. There you can see. Whew, a little bit of loose on exit there. Let's try turns 3 and 4 and see. So it's not that we can't run down here. It's just that I'm going to have to be off the throttle more than I want to be. Like right there, 3 and 4 was not bad at all. I was down to maybe 90% throttle.
31.6.
But here in 1 and 2, it's just not the place to be for me. Because I was having to get out of the gas quite a bit. So I'll instead want to use this second or even third groove over there. Maybe even a fourth if you count right up on the wall, which I do not plan on doing. And now that we're pulling away from Zane Smith,
20 laps to go. 30.
you can hear the engine sound change. The tune of that engine because the RPMs have dropped. We're no longer in a nice draft. But hopefully, we'll keep an eye on this group in front of us. We're about 2.1 seconds away right now. Let's see if we can run them down. And if we can, then we'll hear that RPM start getting back up there again.
31.663.
So again, if you're new to the channel or new to this series, you're going to notice that the tach is going to start lighting up red once we get around 8,000 and above. That's because I've put a rev limiter at 8,500 on the trucks. Not because I had to, but because it forces me to make some decisions on the gearing. It's a fun thing that I wanted to do, to try to frustrate myself a little bit with the gearing
31.663.
of clean air versus dirty air, you know, in the draft, what works better there as opposed to on our own, that kind of thing. So I think I heard him a few laps ago say 20 to go. So in my head, I'm sort of going with the idea that we have about 15 laps to go. No idea if that's correct or not, or how close it is, but that's kind of in my head what I'm thinking. We're definitely catching the group in front of us. In fact, we're close enough that we're going to start to get a draft, which means that in the corner, we're going to start to get that dreaded arrow push, because now the tires aren't as fresh. I can't just drive it in there like I did at the beginning. We've got tire wear, which means we don't have the grip anymore in the tires. So I'm going to try to stay up here in some cleaner air as best I can. But what do we got up here? 4 or 5 trucks in front of us, which means that would get us very close to a top 10. All right, Friesen, give me some room up here. All right, that's exactly what he did. I'd like to pass him one at a time, if I can, rather than 3 wide. You can see we get a big run through the center on these guys. They pull away a little bit on entry, except for down here in 1 and 2. I'm going to actually back out of this a little bit, because we get a bit of too much of a run on the entry of turn 1 down here. You can, in fact, you can see 1 and 2, we just crushed them this time. But you also have to be careful about running them over. So tire wear is definitely coming into play for not only us, but for them as well, as you can see. Yeah, right now, I mean, you can tell probably in my steering movements that this thing wants to come around. It is pretty loose right now, particularly on corner entry. Or excuse me, corner exit, I should say. A little tight on corner entry. Alright, now we've got past these guys. I'm guessing we're going to start to pull away, because we caught them pretty quick. They were a little over 2 seconds ahead. We ran them down in not a long time. Probably what, 3, 4 laps, 5 laps, something like that. So it looks like the tire wear is biting these guys more than it's biting me right now. So now we've got another group up there that's about 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds ahead. So let's see if we can run those guys down. Yeah, we're definitely putting a lot of time on the guys in that group we just passed. So for me, I'm taking a mental note of how the tire wear is affecting me, how it's affecting them, how much their times are falling off. And of course, ultimately we want to figure out where do we stand on speed, because it could just simply be that we had more speed than these guys. So as the tires have worn off, it's affecting us the same amount. We were just faster to begin with. Try to see if I can get down here. Yeah, I can get down here and run down here, but it is not fun. Just too much time off the throttle. It's a much easier lane to run higher on the track through 1 and 2. Now 3 and 4, I prefer to run a little bit higher, but it's not as big a deal to get down the track. Picking up a bit of a push there through 3 and 4.
We got just 10 more to go. 32.043.
All right, so once again, we're definitely catching these guys. We're down to 2.2 seconds ahead. So in just a few laps, a handful of laps, we have taken a second. Oh yeah, the truck definitely likes that better. Up a little bit higher on the track.
32.158.
So essentially right now through the corners, I'm trying to let the truck go where it's most comfortable. I'm not trying to force a certain groove on it. The higher I go, the easier it is through the corner. That makes sense, obviously, given the different grooves on the track. Then you also have to take into account how fast are you. At this particular track, you can be competitive in any of the grooves. That's the great thing about it, particularly once you are in traffic. If you're finding that you're losing too much ground by running on the bottom, following those guys, then move up a groove, maybe 2 grooves, and you should be able to pick up the speed versus what you can run on the bottom.
956.
Finding that clean air, or at least the least dirty air, like right there, these guys being side by side in front of us, is not doing me any favors unless I go to the extreme top of this track, and I'm not excited about doing that. So here, you're going to hear me have to work that throttle more. There we go. That was definitely tight on the exit of 4. And it's only going to get worse the closer I get to these guys. So try to work this higher side. See if we can't get a little bit of luck and these guys start to get single file. You can see that Overton's truck up there is definitely not doing us any favors. Not a huge deal, but it's enough to slow us down.
Just 5 more to go.
All right, there you have it. 5 more laps.
05. Car inside.
All right, so we've been able to move up quite a bit here. I mean, we're on the edge of the top 10
Still
now.
there. Clear inside. Car inside.
Ooh, had to pedal it a little bit there through the center to get pointed for the
Clear
exit.
inside. 32.252.
But yeah, this
Car
truck
inside. You're in the
is
top 10. Clear.
very unstable right now. But it's moving around like I need it to, so I'm dealing with it. But this is definitely not a comfortable truck to drive right now.
Inside. Stay high.
There we go again, just pedaling it a little bit there
Clear inside.
to try to get the truck pointed.
32.327.
Out of the gas way early there. To try to keep a little bit tighter line on entry.
Stay high.
We know that we're getting through this corner much better than the AI.
Still there.
All right, not crazy about being 3 wide here, so I'm going to back out of it. Just try to
Stay high.
try to follow the 51 through here if I can, without taking it 3 wide.
32.600. Clear inside. Keep high.
Whew, had to use a little brake on corner entry there. Tires are really starting to fall off now. Here at the very end of the run, it's very noticeable.
Clear inside. Car inside.
And that's what I like. When the tires are wearing grip, you're losing grip, that's when driving these things becomes the most fun.
White flag. 1 more lap to go. 32.529. You're in 5th.
All right, so last lap, where are we? I hadn't even had a chance to look in forever. We are, 5th. Okay, I like it. A top 5. All right, we're not close enough to Crafton to really make any headway on it. Not this lap, but yeah, we have definitely been able to move through this field in only one fuel run, or even less than that, actually. So how about that? A top 5. We've been flirting with top 10s.
Great job,
And of
buddy.
course, Daytona, a little bit different animal there with where you finish, but that was a lot of fun. All right, so let's actually hop out. I want to take a look at the standings. Obviously, we can see who won on the screen, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull it to a stop, even though we don't have to. All right, go ahead and hop out. Let's just take a brief look at the standings. This is where I take a look at understanding that there are still some trucks that are in this pack that shouldn't be in the pack because they either are no longer out there or have different drivers and so forth, such as we see Bill Lester down here in 26 that we talked about at the beginning. But overall, I mean, I'm seeing Austin Hill up there. DiBenedetto is up there. Johnny Sauter, loved that truck, by the way, that 47 truck. Crafton, I mean, some of these guys that you would expect to be up toward the front are definitely up toward the front. At least I'm hoping Matty D can run up front this year. I'm hoping he's contending for wins and gets a few wins under his belt. I would love to see that. But overall, that was a lot of fun. Very tricky. The truck, I made changes to the setup to take some stability out, help the rotation, and it definitely did. Overall, I could definitely feel the rear of this car wanting to turn and rotate more, and it certainly helped us with speed, particularly in the long run. It helped the car to rotate a good bit better. Now, can we do the same thing in Xfinity and Cup? Well, we'll just have to wait and see.